Good day to and welcome, I'm Bakerization and this is Indie Watch, where I show you 7 upcoming games on Steam and 1 from itch.io. I should point out that I'm not recommending buying those right away, rather keep watch on them once they actually come out. Now, let's jump onto it. As the first quite interesting pick I chose Fossil Hunters, an action-adventure game about digging for fossils and building your own dinosaurs. Now, this game supports local co-op, local multiplayer and single player, which is something quite interesting. A lot of games just straight up left out the local stuff. However, you don't need internet connection in order to work out together, but it also works in a co-op and multiplayer over the network, which once again good to have these two combined. So if you have 4 players, I would recommend probably 4 looking at the game, who like cooperative games, who like to work together, not really kill each other in a game which is not really violent but quite interestingly looking, I have to say. This might be interesting to you. What might be an issue might be the price, which has not been still announced, but if this one is, let's say, up to $20 or euros, it would probably be a good price. If it goes somewhere around 30 up to 40, well, that would be a bit too much. The second pick is Piranha, which is a playful meditation experience that the user engages with their breath, employing physical breath to heal various creatures in their environment, while learning to control their own breath and emotional state. I have to say that this is quite an interesting idea. I'm not sure how well it works in that VR and how it actually gets to know that you're breathing, but the meditative experience in VR might be a really good gimmick. I wouldn't recommend this for anyone who doesn't have VR, because this is definitely gonna be a good VR experience, but fairly bad standard PC experience. But if you have the VR, this might be something to keep a look at. And now something for the puzzle platformer lovers. Easy is a simple hardcore platformer game, the goal being get across to the other side of each of the 100 levels, while each death throws you back to the previous level, or levels. Now, it has minimalistic style, fairly nice, it looks really good, and it looks astonishingly difficult. If I take this back a bit, now this is simple, this is once again fairly simple, and now we go into some kind of madness. If you're into this, this might be really interesting, but if you just hate platformers and you're really bad at them like I'm, well, this might not be the game for you. On the 17th of February we have Individual Investor Tycoon, a kind of a clone of Game Dev Tycoon, I have to say. Once you see the UI, you'll see that it looks a lot like Game Dev Tycoon. It plays probably a lot like Game Dev Tycoon. It's from a different developer. This looks to be a one-person project, but I spent a lot of time with Game Dev Tycoon. Even though it's not a really good game, it is surprisingly addictive. So this one might be too. And there's not a lot of these tycoons and little things that actually just let you let the steam out rather, because you don't really have to think about this for long periods of time. You just go for autopilot after a while. So this might be something to keep a look at if you're looking for something casual. Now, I know that there's a lot of VR games in this list. That is unintentional, but because Kingdom Come is coming out, there's not much stuff really coming out this week that is that interesting. I think that would be kind of a suicide for a lot of small devs. But Sacred 4 looks to be an interesting VR experience, more action-packed than the previous ones, but it all depends on how well this whole gimmick of a chained weapon works. It looks pretty cool. You will be somewhat of a god of war in this, but if it doesn't work well and it does not allow you to do a lot of these things like actually catch it and throw it back, well, or intuitively, then it's definitely suck. I should also point out that the animation is somewhat horrid. Let's take a look at this one. As the creatures come out from around the corner, you can see the pathing is a bit off in the trailer. But if this will end up at like 15 euros or dollars, it might be an interesting VR experience. This one will come out sometime in February, and it is a quite good looking and probably with an interesting concept, at least, puzzle platformer. I know that these are usually better than the hardcore ones just because they require you more to think than actually have lightning reflexes, and this one looks really interesting with really good art style. Just take a look at it. It looks gorgeous and simple at the same time. That's what puzzle platformers should look like, I think. And once again, something that could come out in February, I believe that it should. It is a point-and-click adventure following a young girl and a shape-changing golem as they navigate the ruins of an ancient tower to solve its puzzles and reactivate its long dormant machines. Let's keep the fact that there is a typo in the description, but this one looks really good. Just take a look at the movement of the girl and the golem. It actually looks astonishing, and if it will end up being a good game, this might be the next Oreo in the Blind Forest and these things. Like, take a look at it. It looks fairly good. The animations are great, and if the point and click aspect of the game will be good and it won't be just the simplest thing possible, then this will be definitely something to keep a look at. Now let's jump to itch.io, where there is definitely the most interesting project of the last week. This is, however, only a prologue to In Other Waters, which is currently on Kickstarter. Take a look at it. You, I think, can get the game for $10 on Kickstarter. However, it will be shipped out at 2020, so you'll have to wait for it a while. But it looks quite astonishingly well, doesn't it? In Other Waters is a unique exploration game with balanced narrative, depth, and meaningful relationships with Metroid-like world of intersecting pathways and alien life. The art style is good, the gameplay will be more of a managing one definitely, but it might be quite an interesting game. And for the price of $10, wow, the trailer is also pretty good and it has very solid music. If you like just the music, you can buy it also on the Kickstarter for $3, so you can help them out a bit and get something out of it. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you'll keep watch on those, because some of those are really nice projects, even if you don't have VR. So, thanks for watching, and see you next week.